Money measures value. Attention creates it. Before anything becomes expensive, desirable, or influential, it must first be noticed. Value does not begin in markets. It begins in awareness. If something never enters your field of perception, it cannot influence you. If it cannot influence you, it cannot shape your behavior. And if it cannot shape behavior, it cannot shape outcomes. Attention is the gateway. Attention determines what enters awareness and what remains. Invisible. Invisible things rarely shape a behavior. Visible things almost always do. You do not respond to reality in full. You respond to the portion you notice. This makes attention a filter. A filter determines which signals matter, and whichever signals matter guide action. This is not philosophy, it is cognitive limitation. The brain cannot process everything, so it selects. Selection becomes experience. What people repeatedly see becomes familiar. What is familiar becomes comfortable. Comfort becomes acceptable. Acceptance becomes preference. Preference drives behavior. Behavior creates outcome. The chain is simple but powerful. Repetition is influence without argument. When exposure is consistent, resistance declines. Familiarity reduces friction, and friction is the barrier to persuasion. Culture is not imposed, it is repeated. Ideas become dominant, not because they are strongest, but because they are most visible. Trends become normalized through frequency. Language shifts through exposure. Norms evolve through repetition. Attention constructs cultural gravity. The more attention something receives, the more it appears. Central things feel important. Things shape identity. Modern competition is not primarily for money, it is for focus. Products compete for attention before they compete for purchase. Influencers compete for attention before influence. Movements compete for attention before belief. Money flows downstream from attention capture. Attention and revenue follows. Lose attention and relevance dissolves. This is why the most valuable resource in the digital age is not capital, it is focus. If your attention is scattered, your energy disperses. Dispersed energy produces shallow progress across many directions. Constant switching prevents depth. Shallow engagement prevents mastery. Without mastery, leverage never forms. This creates a cycle of perpetual motion without meaningful gain. Busy but not advancing. Connected but not concentrated. Informed but not transformed. Concentrated attention produces depth. Depth produces competence. Competence produces mastery. Mastery creates leverage. Leverage multiplies effort. This is why individuals who control their attention often appear unusually effective. They are not necessarily working harder, they are leaking less energy. They eliminate distraction. They reduce fragmentation. They protect cognitive bandwidth. Focus is force. External systems constantly attempt to redirect attention, not maliciously. Strategically, every notification is a request. Every headline is a hook. Every algorithm optimizes for retention. Retention equals revenue. If your attention is redirected often enough, your trajectory shifts gradually. Small shifts accumulate. A few degrees today become miles tomorrow. You rarely notice the shift in real time, but over years, it alters identity. Attention functions as a steering mechanism. Where it turns, behavior follows. Where behavior follows, outcomes accumulate. If you repeatedly focus on fear, your decisions orient toward safety. If you repeatedly focus on status, your decisions orient toward validation. If you repeatedly focus on growth, your decisions orient toward expansion. Attention sets emotional tone. Emotional tone influences choice. Choice constructs life direction. You may believe you are immune to repeated exposure, but familiarity bypasses logic. What is repeated becomes normal. What is normal feels correct. Correctness reduces critical evaluation. This is how narratives stabilize, not through force, but through repetition. Control what someone sees repeatedly, and you influence what they believe gradually. Guarding attention is equivalent to guarding autonomy. Without control of focus, control of direction is impossible. If you do not choose what occupies your awareness, someone else will, not necessarily with malicious intent, but with their priorities. When their priorities dominate your focus, your direction adjusts accordingly. Autonomy is not freedom from influence, it is control over what influences you. Strategic attention means deliberate allocation. You decide what deserves repetition. You decide what enters daily awareness. You reduce exposure to what fragments clarity. You increase exposure to what builds depth. Is not withdrawal from the world, it is filtration. Filtration protects trajectory. Without filtration, trajectory becomes reactive. Small shifts in focus compound. 10 minutes of distraction daily becomes hours monthly. Hours become weeks annually. Years shape identity. Identity shapes destiny. Likewise, small acts of focused attention compound. Incremental depth becomes expertise. Expertise becomes leverage. Leverage reshapes environment. Compounding does not announce itself. It accumulates silently. Those who capture attention do not need to control you directly. They only need to guide what you see. What you see repeatedly becomes important. Importance dictates priority. Priority dictates behavior. Behavior dictates destiny. Money measures value. Attention creates it. Guard your attention. It directs your life. Guard your attention. Reclaim your direction. Subscribe to PsyArchive to unlock the next psychological file.